Speed is everything. Developers are quickly turning to agentic workflows to maximize their impact, and we need to talk about it. Let's slow down for a second and ask the important question. LLMs are trained on median knowledge. As a DevTools company, we want to know how can we provide expert knowledge to AI agents about our niche area of email at the right time while preserving context. Today, let's talk about 3 things that will help you build better with Resend and agents. Number 1, your agent needs docs, up-to-date docs. There's lots of ways to ingest docs into your agent. First, you can simply pass it our llms.txt file. This is a reference file you can use to progressively get more information as your agent needs it. You can also give it specific knowledge for any page. Thanks to our friends at Mentify, any individual page can be parsed as Markdown by adding the .md extension. Now, it's possible you want your agent to be trained more comprehensively on Resend. For that, give it the llms full txt file. It's a compressed version of all of the docs in Resend. For a long time now, MCP has been a standard for giving your agent specific tools. The Resend docs have a built-in MCP tool that your agent can use to get precise information. Finally, if you want our perspective on a particular workflow, we include copy prompts throughout our documentation. They include opinionated views on how you should set up email flows. Next, let's talk more specifically about MCP. We've long had an MCP server that allows you to send emails. I've even done a full video tutorial on it in the past. We're right in the midst of developing our MCP with full coverage of our entire API. You can actually already use it locally today to get access to sending and receiving emails, contact management, broadcasts, templates, webhooks, and more. We've included a guide on setting it up, both in our documentation and on our new MCP page. For instance, I'll use Claude Code and copy the snippet, and then paste it directly into my terminal to install locally on my machine. Of course, I'll have to provide my own API key, but now Claude has dozens of tools to help me work with my Resend account. You can have lots of tools, but if you don't know how to use them, it's not very useful. This is how MCP servers are without the appropriate context. Now, of course, you can provide that context yourself with an agents.md file, but unless you're an email expert, you may not have opinions on how to set up email flows. This is where agent skills come in. We've just released 3 agent skills: email best practices, React email skills, and Resend skills. Skills nicely fill the gap of knowledge for particular tools like email. Ideally, you set these flows up once, and after that, you continue building your application. It's only at that moment that you need the expertise. At the most basic, an agent skill is just a Markdown file. It contains a name and a description so the agent knows when to use it. By default, only the front matter is loaded into the agent's context window. This means skills are very context aware. When a skill is invoked or the agent believes it needs to be used, then the skill file will be read in full. That file itself can reference additional context as needed, but importantly, only the details you need will be loaded into your agent's context. So how do skills work with MCP? Well, while MCP provides particular tools, the ability to have opinions on how to use those tools comes from a well-crafted agent skill. And ultimately, that's what you're looking for in an agent skill file. Does it share opinions on how something should be done? Not mere basic knowledge that you could get from the documentation. Let me give you a couple of examples. When sending logins, the ideal flow would be that none of those logins would ever be threaded with any other emails from your account. Now, while our docs do describe that you can do this with a custom header, it's not something that most developers would stumble upon or realize its usefulness. The agent skill should have opinions, and that should tell the user, the agent in this case, that it should always include this custom header to avoid threading with things like login emails. As a second example, whenever you have retry logic built into your application, you should always include an idempotency key with an email. That prevents duplicate requests. So if an initial send fails and your retry logic kicks in, you can safely retry the same payload with the same idempotency key, and Resend will first check if that same email was already sent in the last 24 hours. If so, the email will not send, and you'll be saved the embarrassment of sending a duplicate email. Once again, a cursory glance of the documentation would show that this feature exists, but a skill can provide the expert opinion that you should include idempotency with your emails. We've worked hard to develop this way of tooling to give your agent current documentation from Resend, specific tools to do each task within Resend, and an opinionated way to use those tools. That's how we're thinking about agent experience. It's about the developer. And if we can help you build faster and more accurately, you can get back to building the product you actually care about. How else should we support you as you continue to build in this kind of new world? Let us know below. And thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Happy emailing.